So here we are with Chris Claremont, who's and we were talking about this on the way up. You're sort of the, I mean, you redefined X-Men in a way that's sort of still lasting. I mean, we kind of talked about all the characters that you introduced, and as far as we're concerned, I mean, essentially you created Wolverine and made him what he is today.
We said that, you didn't, so that's all right.
Yeah. So I guess the kind of place we decided to start was your X-Men Forever's picking up with X-Men number 3. What made you decide to revisit that and come back to it sort of out of continuity, or current Marvel continuity?
Well, my editor Mark Panacea and I were talking, and about projects to do and things that would be fun, and we just began batting ideas back and forth. The more I started thinking about it and reconsidering where I was and with the series then and what I wanted to do next, and the more we defined what the parameters would be, i.e. we wouldn't have to be worried about corporate continuity in the sense that we didn't need to keep anyone around because they were part of the franchise. I mean, that was Uncanny's problem, not ours. We discovered it opened up a whole lot of possibilities and freedoms that hadn't existed back in the day. I mean, there's been a lot of talk, for example, about my doing this Dark Wolverine saga, and the reason we couldn't do it back then was that the idea in the original concept was we'd kill him, he'd be dead for a year, and then he'd come back evil. And the first reaction that came back from editorial was, yeah, but he's got his own series. What are you going to do with that?
Many of them.
And this is back then, and my reaction was,
I think he was only in 2 books and not 15 at that point.
Well, my point was, we'd find a way to make it work. And keep everybody guessing, and the general response was, it's an interesting idea. No. Of course, they subsequently did it anyway. So
Just a couple years ago, right? More or less. Yeah.
I believe it was Millar or Grant or one of the,
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
The
Yeah.
enemy of the state one.
Yes.
Yeah.
He
and Johnny.
Yeah.
He and JR. So, I guess no good idea goes unlost. My thought, though, was, okay, if those restrictions aren't there anymore, what's the most outrageous thing we can do consistent with what I had in mind that nobody would see coming, and that would perhaps open up a whole new, as broad a realm of possibilities for the series and the characters as we could imagine, and get everybody really, really both intrigued and pissed off.
So
at which point Logan's fate was sealed.
Yeah. Well, that's one way to piss a lot of people off. Yeah.
Well, but the point, the fundamental point, was to remind the characters and the team and the readers that these guys, whatever they may think, whatever they may believe, they're mortal.
Mm-hmm.
That there is a defined reality about their existence, which is it could come to an end at any moment, and this is something everyone has to remember. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was the, once we crossed that Rubicon, once Jim made us accept accept the reality, bite the bullet, grab whichever cliche was most apropos. With Gene, it in a sense for Uncanny opened up a tremendous opportunity in the sense that there was real risk.
Yeah, yeah.
And once Gene was resurrected, that risk, that sense of danger, that fundamental gamble of being an X-Men went away.
Yeah. There wasn't
And
finality to.
There wasn't.
Yeah.
And so with X-Men 1, Forever 1, the intent was and is to restore that level of risk, to tell the cast and the readers, with this series anything goes.
Yeah.
Because as a comic book reader, I know exactly what you're saying, because every time you see somebody die in a comic book now, you're like,
I can't wait till they
yeah,
come back.
they're going to be back.
Exactly.
They'll be back.
Well, no, I mean,
too,
yeah.
You know.
I mean, whatever.
Back Bucky.
Well, it's just that there's there's no danger,
Yeah.
because that's publishing.
Yeah.
And worse, though, to me as a reader, I see the sense that carries through to the writing of it as well. Nothing's going to happen to Batman. Nothing's going to happen to Superman. Nothing's going to happen to Spider-Man. Therefore, if whatever happens, someone will cut a deal with the devil or whomever, and things will be set right.
Yeah,
And the sort of rule of thumb we're running with Forever is, as Gene says at the end of 5, we had all these assumptions and now they're not there anymore.
Yeah.
And we're just going to have to go on. And the whole point there was we flip the coin. She's left, he's gone, and Scott is dealing with, well, shit, I'm just going to hold it together.
Yeah.
Because Charlie's betrayed me, Logan's left, Jean's shattered. Someone's got to take responsibility. And in a weird sense, this is the moment his process, bearing in mind all that's happened leading up to now, he's become the dad. And he's accepting that responsibility.